This is William Yovanovitch. I joined hundreds of others to build SeaWorld of Texas. Seeing what we wrought, it appears a little odd now that this park was created almost on a hunch. I came to San Antonio in 1984 with Ralph Kahlo to find a building as headquarters for the Psychological Corporation, an HBJ subsidiary. We were met by Leo Zuniga of Economic Development. The building bought, and on the way to the airport, I asked Leo, how would you like a SeaWorld in San Antonio? The next day, Mayor Henry Cisneros called me. When can I arrive with my Tiger team? He asked. Was there a feasibility study? No. What there was were great resources of SeaWorld in California, Ohio, and Florida. 5,000 employees who held amongst them diverse skills, a tradition of successful park management. Where to reinvest these resources? Where to go? I knew Texas from selling textbooks in Deaf Smith County, Wichita Falls, and elsewhere, and from visiting Galveston as a naval officer in World War II. I knew San Antonio was every Texan's second home. I knew also that San Antonio, like San Diego, has bounded into the list of the largest cities of the United States. And I liked the notion of its large Hispanic population. Latins, including notably Italians, are profuse in their love and treatment of children. And SeaWorld, if nothing else, is a child's delight. And then there was San Antonio's splendid location at the beginning of the hill country with its live oaks, cedar elms, agarita. Well, the rest followed. Edward Gibbon, on completing the 1,000,000 words in The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, was asked, how did you manage? After I got the first sentence right, he replied, the rest followed. And so it did in Texas. We had a lot of help. We had help from the state, from the city, from the county, from the school district, from the people. We found the right site finally, steered by Ken Gindy and lured by the visionary Marty Wender. Maybe all those Texans sensed that we were building the last great park in the United States. Where else is one to find 9 to 10 months of good weather, count on year-round attendance, and depend on a large local population? Nowhere else, I think. We began with what I'm sure was the right question. How can we devise a place that is memorable for its sights, its views, its sounds, its motions? In short, we began with aesthetics. Ernie Godden and I chose arts and crafts architecture of the early 20th century, which features wood and stone and water. We also turned to art moderne and art deco, in part because it suits the black and white of beloved animals, killer whales, penguins, and Commerson dolphins, called the pandas of the sea. We ended with more than 2,000 large engineering drawings. These, I confess, causing me a bit of heartache. If you would only change yards to meters and gallons to liters, you could, I think, in 2 or 3 years, recreate this magnificent park abroad. Now it's all done. As you passed through the huge glass arches, you saw the first of many statues, part of the largest one-time commission of art within a single state, and a rose compass fountain, the first of many waters, more fountains, waterfalls, spills, lagoons, a 12-acre man-made lake, and the largest pool in the world at Shamu Stadium. 7 million gallons of salinated, filtered, ozonated water drawn from natural wells from the Edwards Aquifer. You climbed the high ground to see an acre of Texas grasses ringed with U.S. flags. You descended to Cypress Gardens West, where the Texas Walk, I predict somewhat brashly, can become for Texans a shrine almost like the Alamo. Artisans made it, historians too. You have passed belvederes shaped from Contera stone, pathways cut from Attakine, native cypress trees like those that line the Medina River as it winds through the Bandera. You have seen the hundreds of species of mammals, birds, fishes that we shipped from California and Florida, without a single accident, it might be said. I hope you have been surprised by joy. And if indeed you have been, then it is owed to Jack Snyder, George Becker, Ernie Godden, John Redlinger, Dan Dougherty, and scores of other talented architects, engineers, designers, fitters, and dreamers. As for myself, each time I walk through the exit, I feel a certain sadness. You think to yourself, can these creative people come together again? Can they bring their skill and energy, their inspiritedness, to another place? Maybe we can all assemble and build once more a great park in Tokyo, or better, Rome. Is that asking too much? Surely we can be satisfied with what was accomplished here in Texas, in San Antonio. But somehow I cannot feel at ease. No, nostalgia will not be enough. I'd like to do it again.
San Antone, it's really good to see you. It's been a while, but you've been on my mind. I've seen your rolling hills and winding rivers, so clear that I could almost make them mine. I can almost see the old Bandera highway stretching out toward old Mexico, and the times we used to walk down by the river. Now it seems like such a long, long time ago. San Antone, it's really good to see you. It's been a while, but you've been on my mind.
our date, June 24th. I've been assigned by 2 heads of the household to act like an idiot in front of a video camera. So basically they want me to do this for posterity, and my grandchildren will be remembering this. Well, I want them to remember how I usually dress, and then they can laugh at me when I'm with my goofy outfit. Okay, just a basic preview before we get started here. Yes, I do look silly. This thing is all a part of a SeaWorld scholarship, in which I won. I got $1,000. And basically what I had to do is write a 500-word or 5 minutes, I never got that straight, monologue. And it could be about anything as long as it was pertaining to SeaWorld. So I decided to do it on a Hicks version of SeaWorld, since I was in the bed meeting from Pleasanton High School. And oops, is it green? Is it ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one more thing I wanted to add was, along with the $1,000 scholarship, there was this big ceremony. I got to meet several stars, Marilyn McHugh, Roger Staubach, George Gervin, who was that country singer? Well, a country singer. And it was great. We got special attention. I got my name in the newspaper. Last time. What? A lot of folks characterize Texas as large. Largely strange. The state bird, the Texas turkey, is an armadillo. The state vegetable is a refried bean. Its favorite song is Yellow Rose of Texas. I ain't seen one yet. And his favorite pastime is sticking a deformed 10-gallon sombrero on your head, hopping on the 4th of a horse and go chase cows. Rodeo. The weather is so out of whack that up north in the Panhandle, people are shoveling snow off their porches. Well, down south in the Rio Grande, they're mowing prickly pear, praying for rain. The winds are so bad in El Paso, it's blowing West Texas to Galveston. Hurricane Annie's blowing it right back. The whole darn state's out of kilter. So me being your average Texas resident, you can imagine I wasn't a bit surprised when they told me they were going to take 140 dolphins, 200 walruses, 100 penguins, 3 killer whales, and stick them right smack dab in the X of Texas. You talk about one heck of a stockpile. It'd take more than a truckload of Lone Star to float that many fish. And boy, me being an angler, I was the first one in line at the grand opening with my fishing rod and tackle box ready to catch me a shamu. When you told me it was a mammal, it ain't the biggest fish story I ever heard. So I joined the stampede under the silver arches and went into the place where more than 1,000 fishes are served. I tell ya, inside are some strange happenings. I seen things in there that would make a pig whinny. Now I can say I seen everything. I guess that's why they call it SeaWorld. Now I've seen trout jump up and catch flies, and catfish eat the bait right out of your hand. But I had seen nothing till I saw 12 tons of killer whale swim upside down, sideways with its tail, jump 10 feet up in the air and do a backflip. All with the flip of a trainer's wrist. A lot of folks got to catch the wave, and they weren't drinking Cokes neither. But I tell ya, goddamn thing's rigged. Because after the show was over, I went over to Shamu to try my hand at some pet tricks. I said, Shamu, shit, he spit on me. Now, SeaWorld's got this place called Beach Blanket Ski Party, only this time they have a bunch of surf punk yahoos doing flips in the water instead of a killer whale. It was a real nice setup, though. A 12-acre pool equipped with bikini beauties on a sandy beach. Whoop-a-wee! Kind of like Padre Island, only with no oil slicks. And they even got the seals doing tricks, too. I ain't completely ignorant. I know seals can bounce the balls on their noses and do the bork, bork, bork routine. But never in my life have I seen one trying to play Sherlock Holmes. I knew SeaWorld was big, but I didn't think it could hold the entire United States. Nowhere but here can you two-step across Texas, hula hoop around Hawaii, waltz in Wisconsin, and cha-cha through Colorado. No offense to you Aggies, but ever since you stomped the Longhorns and the Cotton Bowl, I always wanted to step on College Station. I knew that. This place is so big, they even got a place for them that's lost to get found. I should take my brother there. He's always been wanting to find himself. And they even got, well, shoot, I could go on forever telling you about the tank full of the meanest looking Texas trout. Call them sharks. The walruses, the dolphins, but they only gave me 5 minutes. You're just gonna have to come to Alamo Town and see it yourself. SeaWorld's one heck of a river walk, and it ain't no fish story. She moved, y'all.
It's at 8:30 in the morning.
Pretty early in the morning, and then there are a lot of things that will go up into the air. They are going to release thousands of balloons, 5,000 racing pigeons. Hopefully they will race to someplace other than the San Antonio River downtown. There'll be a flyover from the Air National Guard. 10 hot air balloons will go up, and then 50 families, each from a different state of the Union, who all won free trips here to SeaWorld, will snip the ribbon, and SeaWorld will officially be open.
And many of the celebrities who are going to be in town for the weekend, for the grand opening, have been arriving tonight aboard Shamu SWA. That is the Southwest Airlines jet that has been painted to look like a killer whale. They'll get the red carpet treatment, just like Marilyn McCoo did last night. She will be the host of tomorrow night's grand opening special. That airs at 9 o'clock on KSAT 12 News tomorrow night. It will be broadcast to about 15 other TV stations in Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana.
Boy, tonight it was a killer of a party thrown by a killer whale and SeaWorld, both of whom welcomed 3,000 VIP visitors to the park tonight. They're here, obviously, for the big grand opening tomorrow, but tonight the businessmen, politicians, and families took an eating and drinking tour through SeaWorld, which gave them the opportunity to learn the layout of the park and partake of several culinary delights, like blackened tenderloin. Among the VIPs are those 50 families that won trips to SeaWorld through a contest sponsored by Pepsi. And tonight, they'll all be treated to a special killer whale show at Shamu Stadium that splashes into action around 10 tonight. Tonight's festivities will be topped off by a spectacular fireworks display, which was designed by the award-winning engineer Paul Austin. He and his men have been hard at work all day putting together this very complicated show with all the equipment that they need to light up the sky over SeaWorld tonight. Fireworks will be launched from one of the islands in the middle of the ski lake at about 10:50.
The man putting this show together, Paul Austin, will also be responsible, actually was responsible for that fabulous fireworks show we saw at the Alamo on New Year's Eve. And then remember, fireworks are going to be a regular part of SeaWorld's Summer Nights program every evening during the summer. Attendance figures at SeaWorld will also be skyrocketing. They expect to fill the park with 40,000 people for the grand opening tomorrow. That is capacity. It was capacity crowd last weekend also. Now, if you don't already have a pass for tomorrow's grand opening, do not expect to get in. SeaWorld officials tell us there will be no tickets sold at the gates tomorrow. Parking could be a bit of a problem. If you want to avoid some of the hassles, you might want to take advantage of the free shuttle service. That begins at 9 in the morning at Crossroads Mall, also at Northside Athletic Center at 410 and Culebra.
Well, once you get parked and ready to go, there are a few things you ought to know to make your stay here a little bit more enjoyable. And the first thing you will need when you get in the park is a map. And the folks here at SeaWorld will take part of that or take care of it. You'll be handed one when you enter the park. If some members of your family need a little help getting around, wheelchairs and motorized wheelchairs are also available. And for the little ones, it's a pretty good idea to have a stroller. Comfortable shoes, sunglasses, sunblock lotion. If it's sunny, something for your head, they are all a must. And if you leave something at home, don't worry, because just about anything you will need can be bought at any of the number of stores here at SeaWorld. And also, if you run out of money, there's an ATM machine here as well.
Ticket prices, as you've heard, are a little bit steep, but we have found that most people who spend a full day out here seem to think it is worth the money. For some specifics on those prices, let's tell you that if you are 12 years old, you are considered an adult, and it will cost you just under $20. Children and senior citizens get in for about $17. Kids under 2 get in free. Tomorrow, the park opens at 8:30 a.m., will not close until 1 a.m. Sunday. The rest of the summer, SeaWorld will close at midnight.
Next up on our special, what has to be the headline act, a 4,600-pound killer whale.
And our Doug Olson will be live at Shamu Stadium.
Shamu. Here's Kirby Oliver.
Remember back in the early 60s when the British invasion hit the U.S. shores and Beatlemania left hysteria in its wake? Well, 2 decades later, the craze is back. But this time the fans aren't screaming for John, Paul, George, and Ringo. This time the star is bigger, much bigger. This time they're screaming to see
Shamu, the whale, Shamu.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
This will be our second time today. We saw it once there. It's a great show.
Okay, so maybe the mammal mania hasn't quite escalated to the same point as the Fab Four enjoyed, but hey, don't tell that to any of Shamu's fans.
Shamu, 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 Shamu.
Shamu Mania has without a doubt landed in San Antonio. And although the star is probably oblivious to all the whoopla, her miraculous mug has been saturating the city.
SeaWorld of Texas has opened its doors.
Shamu is everywhere, from TV to radio, the ground to the sky. And at 2.5 tons, this is a face that's hard to miss.
So we went to all the gift shops and we wanted something with Shamu-like.
Shamu Mania is a whale of an idea, and the marine park will continue turning a buck as long as Shamu keeps turning her flips. Kirby Oliver, KSAT 12 News.
You know, weathermen have had trouble finding rain lately in San Antonio, but Doug Olson has not had any trouble finding some water tonight. He is at Shamu Stadium with the star herself and one of the star's trainers. Doug?
Yeah, it's salt rain water is what it is. I'm here with Thad Lasenic, and you're the head trainer here.
That's right.
And so what do you got for us here? We got a little Shamu action here. So what are we going to do? I'll just let you take this away here.
Okay.
Whoa, check it out.
We're going to go ahead and bring Shamu up here. These are 2 of our trainers. This is Laura Perkins and Damon Buer.
Okay.
They are both senior trainers here at the park. And right now, all we're doing is relaxing Shamu. We've got a special show to do here at 10 o'clock tonight, and we're getting Shamu all primed and ready for it.
What can Shamu do for us right here? Let's get the boogie in. I saw that earlier. Let's get the boogie in.
Okay, Laura's going to show that for you right now. Shamu's all excited about being out here and about doing this show tonight.
Can we get
basically, what we're going to do right now is give Shamu a rub down. Basically a massage to get her ready for the show.
Yeah, I saw you earlier. You were leaning over, just kind of rubbing her on top there, and she just kind of like she was in Never Never Land.
Well, that's one of the ways in which we reward the animals. The killer whales here really thrive on that relationship that they have with the trainers, and that relationship is developed through this type of tactile reinforcement. In other words, the rub downs and everything like that. It's up to the trainers to find out what each animal likes and dislikes, and I think you can see she's enjoying this.
Yeah, I can see that. So, can she talk?
Yeah, Shamu can make all different kinds of sounds.
Wait a minute. Oh, what is it, the Mexican food? What is that? You got an upset stomach there, Shamu? Let's have Shamu talk. Oh, she's singing. Oh, it's hard to pick that up. She says, is she out of breath? Is that what that is?
No, I don't think she's out of breath. I think she's just not paying attention to what we're asking her to do.
Oh, there
we go. To that one again.
Well, I know. Whenever she releases the air there, that's when the water spouts up when she's out there in the ocean.
Well, actually, what that is, that's just the water that's cupped into the blowhole right there. There isn't any water actually down in the blowhole because that's just air that's blowing out. But they do make all those sounds out of their blowhole, and they use their blowhole to breathe with, but also for making these different noises, which are probably forms of communication between the animals.
Is there any way I can get in there and touch Shamu? No.
Sorry, only the trainers are allowed to do that. And there's a real reason for that.
Yeah.
The animals have to get to know their trainers, and they can pick each one of their trainers out visually. Their eyesight is very, very good, and they know each one of us individually.
I noticed that earlier, the photographer and I, Larry Burns, were standing down here, and Shamu came right up to the glass here that you can see through and opened up the mouth. I think that's just a trick you guys teach her, but man, that just scared me to no end.
Well, their teeth are pretty awesome. Actually, the animals themselves, if you think about what they are out in the ocean, they are the top predator in the ocean, and they kill and eat just about anything they want to.
On that note.
But here they get all the food they want, so what's more important to them is what you see the trainers doing right now. And this is how we develop and how we're able to ask the types of behavior and the types of things that we ask our animals to do here.
This is just tender loving care, you guys. Shamu and Mamu. Is Mamu's back over there?
It's Shamu, Namu, and Kandu.
We got three.
That's
okay.
right.
It's great. I wish I could get out there and touch you guys so I could say, hey, I touched Shamu, but I can't.
Kind of like Curly, Larry, and Mo.
Yeah.
We are going to come back. You just heard Shamu's own brand of music. It's hard to top that, but we're going to try with some local musicians and the SeaWorld of Texas All-Star Marching Band.
Song for Shamu.
Texas, from rich schools and poor ones. But they specialize in harmony. So tomorrow the differences will disappear and they will be in step and in tune.
People understand music. It's a language that really knows no bounds.
I've been able to play with other musicians from all over the state.
When you get the best players from the state, you got one good sounding band.
There's nothing like a band to get people moving, and this one was designed to get them moving to SeaWorld. The All-Star Band has appeared in Chicago, Houston, and the Cotton Bowl, hitting the right note with crowds.
It's been a real beautiful thing to watch people see us for the first time. People have just accepted the band just really fine.
Al Sturcio has covered a lot of miles with the band, marching alongside in parades and traveling the state to audition members. Do the kids ever try to talk you into any rock and roll?
No.
Gilbert Navetta lives and breathes through his tuba, marching for Jefferson High School and now SeaWorld. He hopes each step brings him closer to a college scholarship. Kelly Phelps didn't have scholarships on her mind when she tried out for the band. She just wanted to get in on the excitement of SeaWorld.